Oh, yes.
Welcome back once again, everyone. And today, I finally have this review for you. This is the final piece of War for Cybertron Siege for the full collection. And this is War for Cybertron Siege number 46, Rumble and Ratbat. I think at this point, these two need no introduction. They're Soundwave's classic cassette buddies. And they're exceedingly hard to get here in the good old US of A. And joining me on this review is a very special guest who will be here till the end of the video or until his attention span runs out, whichever happens first. And say hi.
Hi.
That's my youngest mini-me, who has been begging to be in a review forever and ever. So he is here to join us, add some enlightening commentary, grant us the wisdom of the 5-year-old child. And yeah, he's just going to be commenting throughout the review. So I want to say, first of all, I'm very disgusted with myself. I was only able to get these by feeding a scalper. I know, I should be shot. Unfortunately, these guys pretty much came and went almost in the blink of an eye on retail shelves here in the US. Never seemingly came in stock on Amazon, despite the fact that a listing exists if you know how to find it, and been signed up for an alert for that forever now, and just never seems to have come in. So, to not completely miss out on this set, I caved. I paid like 35 bucks. There's a sleepy yawn from a little guy, so he may be tapping out sooner than we thought. So bought on eBay for over 3 times what it's worth. Kind of hate myself, but I love these guys already. Before I even open them, they look great. So, we're just gonna ignore how I got these, and we're gonna review this like a good old normal review. Okay, don't do that. Nope, stop. So if you've seen my reviews, you know how this goes. We're gonna take a look at the packaging, then we'll see the instructions for Rumble and Ratbat, and we'll take a look at them in their cassette and robot, or in Ratbat's case, beast modes. Do some group shots, comparisons, and then at the end, if my little one stops playing with the camera, I will give my final thoughts. So let's get started.
Let's get started.
Yeah. All right, here's the instruction booklet. You can see Rumble and Ratbat on the front here. Got the symbols for where they came from. I don't remember which is which, but can be looked up. Open it up. You get Ratbat's instructions on the top, Rumble's on the bottom, and pretty simple transformation. 4 steps each, turn into, some approximation of a cassette mode, or it's supposed to be a shield in this continuity. What's up, bud?
A pick one, did you see it?
Sure, in a second. Then on this side, you have their transformation to their little armor modes. And Rumble here is the V3 Sonic Surge drone armor. So that's a continuation of Laser Beacon Ravage's numbering.
I picked those now.
I mean, you can pick them up, I don't care. And then Ratbat is naturally the V4 Sonic Surge drone armor. And yeah, they're just rectangles with pegs on them. And here you have their 2, cassette modes. Got Rumble on the left, Ratbat on the right. And they look much more like plain rectangles than the other 2 did. You can see those 2 here, and you can just see that their alt modes are a bit more decorative. Less plain looking than their newer counterparts here. So that's, I don't know, that's not great. I mean, they make better rectangles too. They're much more full in their shape. These guys are almost there, but not quite, especially Ratbat. He's, got like some kind of buttress effect going on the top there.
Yep.
Oh, little guy showed. Okay, he's showing it. Is that cool?
Yeah.
Yeah, real cool. So yeah, their alt modes are not the greatest. Okay, well. But of course, that's just an aesthetic thing. The real problems with these toys are going to rear their heads the first time you try to plug one of these in the Soundwave's chest. Buddy, nobody can see. Come on. Here's old Soundwave to help us out. Go ahead, open up his chest compartment, and go ahead and hand me the purple one. Good job. All right. See that this does not fit very well into the compartment. It's a very, very tight fit, and even now it's only really fitting because it's crooked. You can kind of force it in there, but it's really putting a strain on the exterior there, and it doesn't close well. It's too thick. Those little feet get in the way. And even if you turn it upside down, I can get it back out now. Let's say we turn it, let's see, this way. Still just as tight, which is really not something you should do to this clear plastic with paint all over it. And the wingtips get in the way. Now you can force it, you can cram it in there, but what happens is it causes this not to function anymore because now this is kind of wedging the door shut once you get in there, and then pressing this won't do anything, and then you have to like pry the door open. And again, you don't want that. And then for Rumble, he is an even tighter fit than Ratbat. And in fact, I'm not even going to push him in anymore because I don't want to damage this thing. And he very much does not fit in there. So, yep, not good. So these things fail at kind of their primary purpose, which is to be, you know, interactable minions for Soundwave. They don't fit inside of him like their earlier teammates do. That's a big problem. How they didn't figure this out ahead of time, didn't see this coming, that they were just too big to fit in him, that they didn't, you know, downscale these to make it work, I just don't know. But that's a major failure of these toys. All right, little man's gonna demonstrate how this should work. Here's Ravage, right? Just goes right in there, no issues. Fits well, and oh my God, look, it closes. So you can see this is a big flaw with these toys. And I can see that being an absolute deal breaker for a lot of people. And I am very much regretting how much I paid for these now, because they don't really even serve one of their primary purposes. Right now for their super complex transformation, luckily their tertiary modes are better than their alt modes. So you gotta pull these pegs down in the middle, and they are a lot harder to get out than the ones on Ravage and Laserbeak. Really takes a lot of force to pry them out there. So, you have long nails or something, you might break them. Mine aren't long, and they're already having a hard time with these. All right, jump cut, because I had to cheat to get that out. So, I cannot, with my bare hands, get this out. Maybe, like, pulling back my fingernail. Maybe you can, but, you know, good luck. Ratbat is a little bit easier. Yeah, there we go. I can get Ratbat out just fine. Sorry, that was my dog. That has also decided to be part of this. So here we go. Boom. Masterpiece level transformation. Now, we're just gonna go ahead and plug them into Soundwave. Let him armor up with his rectangles. Now here's a problem with these. Functionally, they work just fine, right? There's no clearance issues or anything like that. But because the pegs are on their backs, it forces the ugly side of their little rectangle modes to come out. So you just see Rumble being in all sorts of pain, kind of begging for death. And, you know, upside down bat guy over here. So they function just fine. They plug into things. I think I'm about to kick a little boy out of this room if he doesn't stop. Buddy. But they look awful. You know, by comparison, you got Ravage here.
I want to put that one on.
You gonna put it on?
Yeah.
Okay, can you get it?
Yep.
I'll push it in. Oh, you did it. Good job. All right. And here you can see they have the correct side facing outwards, so they look much more competent as shields. this, I mean, I can just picture Rumble just like begging that nobody, shoots at him because he's just gonna get blasted in the face. But, yep, work okay, look awful. So, that's 2 strikes against these, right? The alt mode is garbage, and these just look silly. So, hopefully the robot mode can kind of come in and save the day. All right, so we're gonna do Rumble's transformation first. So the first step of this is to fold his legs down like so. Just kind of stretch them out. Bring them down this way, and then you are going to rotate them at the knee like so. Now these little posts have his hands attached. You're going to flip them all the way out till they're straight. And it's a pretty tight hinge there, some resistance, so just be careful applying force. So you got this, and then you're just going to rotate the shoulders down. And that is it. This is Rumble's robot mode. And he, actually looks like a fairly standard Micromaster as far as proportions and all that. He's got a ball jointed shoulders here. No articulation in the biceps or anything, unfortunately, they don't bend down. His head does rotate. It is on a swivel, so that's good. He's got legs that swing forward and back and then out. Ball jointed knees, and that's it for articulation. He's also got little 3mm posts on the end of his fist, so he could attach like fire blast effects and things to it. It makes you think maybe there was an intention to give him pile drivers in some way. I'm not sure, but at least he has some way to interact with other things a little bit. Next up we got Ratbat. So for him, you're just gonna flip his wings down, and they're pegged into like his shoulders there. So you gotta pop them out of there. So just flip them all the way down. Bring the wings out. Now flip down his feet that are on a simple hinge, and then his head is on a double hinge. So you want to grab him kind of by the ears and work it. Work the first hinge forward, the second one back, until the first hinge goes all the way down. And there you go. That is Ratbat's bat mode. And not really much in the way of articulation. Pretty much just have these going up and down and not very far. Technically the wings bend in, but I don't think they're supposed to do that for this mode. And technically the feet swing back and forth, but again, not much you're going to do with that. So he stands best, honestly, with the wings all the way out, because they kind of provide some back support for his tiny little feet, because if the wings aren't helping out there, he just flops back. And you could lean him forward in a way. If you want to do that, I suppose. Put him in kind of more of a brooding position. It's up to you. He doesn't do a lot, but he does look cool. And he does very much remind me of the Masterpiece Ratbat toy. So, he does at least look nice. Alright, and for some last minute fun, here is a big old group shot of our 2 guys with their fellow minions, Soundwave and Sound Blaster. Now, I've always felt that Sound Blaster's color scheme worked better with his minions, since a lot of them are black and red. But, either one of these is perfectly fine for pairing up with your minions. I will point out, just in case you're wondering, that no, they really don't work with Sound Blaster's chest cavity either. In fact, it's even worse because this part right here, the edge is so much thicker, so there's much more resistance to pushing them all the way in. So you're much more likely to stress the plastic or scratch some paint. So I wouldn't recommend it. So I guess my overall thoughts on these is they're one of my biggest disappointments, which is funny because, they're so small, you wouldn't think it really mattered too much, but they were so hard to find for most people. I had to pay such a ridiculous amount of money just to get them, just to make sure that I just wouldn't go without completely, just to find out that they don't work as intended. They really messed up the size here. Could have made them just a tiny bit smaller and everything would have been fine. I don't know if they upscaled them because of plastic tolerance issues, maybe hinges were breaking, or I don't know. But they don't work with Soundwave. They look great posed with him, and if that's all you care about, you just want to see them together on your shelf or your desk or whatever, that's fine. Their robot modes look awesome. They look absolutely fantastic, especially for their scale, right? They're not as complex as, say like the big Titan's Return Legend-sized cassettes, or like maybe the Masterpiece cassettes, which are even bigger than these. But they work for the scale, and they do pair up well with Ravage and Laserbeak. But if you want something that you can actually play with, or you want something to buy your kids for their Soundwave toy, I wouldn't get it, honestly. With how hard they are to find in the first place, I just don't see a point in tracking them down. I know if, had I bought this for my older son who has Soundwave, he would have been really disappointed when he realized they're not going to fit into his chest. Or maybe he would have stubbornly tried to make them fit anyway and broken it. Could go either way with him. So yeah, these are such a mixed bag because the robot modes are so good looking. The cassette modes look terrible, they don't work, and they look even worse as shields because of the fact that their fronts face outward. So again, I can't fully recommend these. They're really only good as display pieces, that's about it. And I wasn't expecting to make such a negative review for these. Before I opened the package, I thought everything was fine with them, and the first time I tried to plug them into old Soundwave, I realized that wasn't going to work. So I think I'm just going to end it at that. I'm sorry to put out such a negative review, but I have to be honest. And I can't remember the last time I was so disappointed with a toy. Of course, that is just my take on it. Perhaps you have more positive things to say. I would like to hear those, Help me feel better about this purchase if you can. Or maybe you agree and they're terrible. Either way, I'd love to know what you have to say in the comments section. If you like this review, make sure to toss it a thumbs up. Let old YouTube know that you want to see more content like this. And if you do want to see more content like this, make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you always get a heads up when I post something new. I thank you for joining me and the little man for this look at two good-looking disappointments. And with all that said, I will see you
next time.